Guys, so I want to talk a little bit about exterior facades. Here we've got stone. This is regular thickness stone, so 4 to 4.5 inches thick, exterior stone. And then we've got a lot of stucco on this house. This is not EIFS stucco, it's not foam. This is real, what we call 3-coat stucco, which is essentially cement. So on all of our homes, we use the green zip wall exterior sheathing. That is the stuff you see on homes that is green. It is more expensive, so you tend to see it on higher end custom homes. It is an exterior plywood that has house wrap laminated to it, so it prevents moisture from going this direction, but does allow it to come the other way. It's one direction permeable. The stucco installers then come in, they put a wrap over that, they put a lath material, which can either be metal or synthetic. It is essentially a type of netting that allows the stucco to be smeared onto it. And then they do in what they call 3 coats. So you've got your initial coat, you end up with your final coat with the color in it. Typically we are doing integrated color in the stucco. And so there's been a lot of talk over the years about stucco, primarily in Texas, being problematic. Why is that? Well, I was just in Tucson and everything was stucco, but it doesn't rain that much out there. Here in North Texas, even though it gets super hot, I'm standing in the heat right now, it also does rain a lot and it can be humid. And so there have been problems in the past with bad stucco installs where it did allow water to get trapped behind it and cause some rotting issues. So there are methods. This house has what we call a rain screen on it, which does allow the moisture that would be behind the wall to get out. And so I have no issues at all with stucco. About the only negative you could ever put on stucco is that it is not impermeable, meaning if somebody hit it hard enough, they could kind of dent it. It can crack if you had a house that had severe settlement and things like that. Now, with that said, you can still get that with stone. The only nice thing about masonry is the mortar joints tend to be kind of the weak link in the chain. So a lot of us have probably seen cracks in mortar joints before. That's because if there's a little bit of movement on what is otherwise a big kind of monolithic piece here, that's the weakest part that will crack first, and that's great. That's better than cracking right through the stone, right? With stucco, we are monolithic. We are one piece here, right? So if there is a massive amount of settling with a home, you can get cracking in stucco. But it is a hardy material. There's a reason you see it on so many homes, especially in the Southwest. So it is used a lot here, seems to be coming much more back into style in Texas. But there were other types of materials. Matter of fact, we have something called EIFS, which is a foam stucco on a building back here, and I'll show you that. That's a different scenario, metal walls behind that and everything. But on a house with regular sheathing, we want to use regular 3-coat stucco, which is what we see here. I just looked up and actually saw an expansion joint. I don't know if we can see that on the camera, but that's what I was talking about, something being monolithic. You do want to have control joints, which would hopefully be where if there were stresses where a crack would happen. You're kind of creating a spot that you hope will be weak. That is what you see in driveways. So we've probably all walked long stretches of concrete and seen those cracks or those expansion joints they have. The goal there is for that to be the place that it would crack if there were movement. Because the one thing we're always dealing with when building homes, when laying concrete down for driveways, is geology and issues we can't control. Here in Texas, we have very expansive soils, meaning high clay based. When they get wet, they expand. When they dry out, they shrink. That can move concrete around. So the same concept applies to a house. It is why when you have really long runs of brick or stucco, you will see control joints put in place to hopefully offset cracking in the other areas where we don't have those joints.